Shalom. First and foremost, I want to start off by giving all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Rakha, Kodash. And as always, I want to give double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone that rule well, and to the sincere brothers that is pushing out the gospel throughout the four corners of the world. Peace and blessing be unto, and infinite salutation be unto the elect, the house of David, that the Lord is raising up in these last days, which is made up of you so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, and scattered Israelites amongst the other nation that look like the other nation, but according to your pedigree, you go back to the descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, as we are the true biblical Hebrew Israelites. Shalom. Now in this lesson, I just want to go into World War III update. Okay, and I have a clip from news. All right, and this is from live now from Fox. This was posted about 18 hours ago. Okay, you know it caught my attention earlier today, but I'm just posting it just now. But as right now is February the 5th, all right, 2024, which is the hopeful year of Jacob's trouble. Okay, but hey, things are getting hot, man. Now we all know about the situation that America lost 3 soldiers from a drone attack in Tower 22 in the base of I believe in Jordan. Okay, and America respond. I believe this was this past Friday night, or Saturday. Okay, and killing about 40 people, man. And you see, all right. So we at that time, man. You see, things are getting hot in what is known as the Middle East. Okay, but in reality, it's Eastern Asia. Okay, it's Eastern Asia. Salakia, forgive me. It's Western Asia. All right. That area, what is known as the Middle East, is in reality Western Asia. Okay. So moreover, let me just play the video.
On your screen right now, giving you a live look at the Israel-Gaza border. The United States launching airstrikes in Iraq and Syria against more than 85 targets linked to Iran's Revolutionary Guard and militias it backs, reportedly killing nearly 40 people in retaliation for a deadly attack on U.S. troops. The strikes, which included the use of long-range B-1 bombers flown from the U.S., were the first in response to the attack last weekend in Jordan by Iran-backed militias, and more U.S. military operations are expected in the coming days. Well, joining us live.
Yeah, so, because the U.S. has blamed Iran-backed fighters for the attack on Tower 22 in Jordan, right? All right, so there you go. America, the U.S. has responded in killing up to 40 people. You see, all right, and it says that it hit about 85 targets in Iraq and Syria. Now, I just want you to keep this in mind as well, too, man. As I keep playing this video, let me just get this script. Let me just get this verse, this precept. Okay, this is from Isaiah chapter 9 and verse 5, and it says, "For every battle of the warrior is with confused noise, and garments roll in blood, but this shall be with burning and fuel of fire." Okay, and what is that talking about? Is talking about World War III. All right, because verse 5, it has to be talking about World War III. Why? Because when you keep going, when you keep on reading, it goes into it is being meant is Yahweh Shah is being mentioned. All right, that he's gonna be the that he's that the government shall be upon his shoulders. You see, the government of Israel, all right, will be upon his shoulders because he's gonna establish his kingdom. We at the time that his return is coming. All right, the return of Yahweh Shah is coming. But until then, you're going to have World War III, you see? And in the midst of that, that's when Yahweh Shah is going to come. All right, so once again, Isaiah chapter 9, verse 5, and it says, "For every battle of the warrior is with confused noise, and garments roll in blood. But this shall be with burning and fuel with fire." Okay, so that's what that's what that's what comes to mind when you watch or you hear certain things like this, as it says, U.S. strikes Iraq and Syria. All right, 40 plus killed after bombers hit. And you see, because it's all about, it's not like how it used to be back in the ancient time. Okay, all they need to do nowadays is just press a button, and there you have it. And you see, all right, and just like that, about 85 plus targets was hit. And you see, so there you have it. The U.S. has to respond. And what do you think these other nations is gonna take this response as? You see, how you think these other nations are gonna feel, or how they gonna look at it, of what the U.S. just did? You see, okay. Now, once again, the U.S. has blamed Iran fighters, all right, for the attack on Tower 22 in Jordan. Now you can just look it up for yourself, okay? You see, but I mean, yeah, it was 3 Americans, right? But you just came up here, all right, like you always do. All right, Esau always go around the world bombing people. Everybody else, Esau goes around the world bombing the whole world and not considering other people's lives. You see, and you see, we at the time that these nations are not gonna take that lightly, man. Okay. These other nations are not looking at you as being the big bully of the playground anymore. You're not the big bully of the neighborhood anymore, man. And you see, once again, this just happened not too long ago. All right. So breaking news, you see. But this is something that you got to keep up with, man. All right. As things are getting hot. Okay. So let me just keep on playing the video.
Coming days. Well, joining us live this morning to explain more on the conflict is Ken Gray. He's the senior lecturer in criminal justice and homeland security at the University of New Haven. Mr. Ken, good morning to you. Always a pleasure having you here with us on Live Now from Fox.
Good morning, Janae. Glad to be with you once again.
Thank you for being here. So many intricate details as a part of this conflict. Can you explain how we got to this point and what exactly happened?
So, this is in response to the attack on Tower 22, a logistics base the U.S. had at the north corner of Jordan on the border of both Iraq and Syria. And with that attack, 3 Americans lost their lives, and there was a promised response by the United States to this attack. This is after a series of attacks against U.S. interests within that area, but this is the one that got by defense and actually killed Americans. The promised response occurred starting on Friday night, our time. In that attack, there was bombers launched from Texas Air Force Base that flew all the way across the world to launch this series of bombings against targets there within Iraq and Syria. There were over 36 targets that were struck. And that, there was over 85 targets that were struck at 7 different locations. It ended up killing both Iraqis and Syrians. The Iraqis are claiming that they lost 36 people, to include both militants and civilians. The Syrians have not provided a number, but they said that they lost both civilians and militants. And so this was the first wave of such attack.
You see, so now civilians and militants all together are being affected by the actions that these leaders, these world leaders are doing, man. You see? But like I said, man, now the reason why the U.S., as this Edomite is explaining, that the reason why the U.S. did what they did with the response as they did is because they wanna end the conflicts. All right, they want to make sure there ain't nothing, and that nothing is gonna come out of this. All right, meaning that, you know, that it's not gonna get more hot than it really is, right? You see, but like I said, because one thing you got to keep in mind is that America, okay, and one scripture that, I got 2 scriptures that comes to mind just now. It's Daniel 7 real quick. I'm going to go straight to the point. The book of Daniel, chapter 7. All right. And, let me see. In verse 8, and it says, and I consider the horns, and behold, they came up amongst them another little horn. And now that little horn, all right, because when you look into the horn, it's talking about these the European Union, all right, the European Union, or the European Economic Community, or once again the EU, all right, the European Union, right? But verse 8, it says, I consider the horns, and horn represents power. And I consider the horns, and behold, there came up amongst them another little horn. And that little horn is talking about America, before whom there were 3 of the first horns plucked up by the roots. All right, which is talking about the 3 horns. All right, the 3 of the first horns is talking about France. All right, and then you have the Spaniards, and then you have the Great Britain. And it says, and behold, in this horn were eyes like the eyes of man. All right, the eyes like the eyes of man, which represents wisdom, and a mouth speaking great things. Yeah, because once again, speaking great things, because America has a prideful spirit. You see, they think that they can just go throughout the world, okay, and conquer, you see, and just bring fear upon the people, man. But once again, we are at the time that these other nations, that you're being confounded who you are as a people, all right? You see, you're not bringing no more fear upon these other nations. You see, because we at the downfall of this rulership. You see, we at the time that the Lord is about to destroy Babylon the Great, and because it's all biblical, It's all prophetic, you see. But this is the book of Isaiah 25 and verse 7. And he will destroy in this mountain the face of the covering cast over all people, and the veil that is spread over all nations. You see that? And that's what the Lord is doing right now, man. All right? The Lord is doing that right now. Okay? He is destroying the face of the covering cast over all people, because America had her time, bringing fear upon the whole world, being the big bully, all right, the tough guy of the neighborhood, all right. But it says that what? That he will destroy in this mountain the face of the covering cast over all people, and the veil that is spread over all nations. You see that? So going back to the video.
And so this was the first wave of such attacks. Then on Saturday night, last night, the United States and the UK launched another series of attacks against the Houthis. And in this particular case, there was 36 different targets that were attacked within Yemen, launched from both the Dwight D. Eisenhower aircraft carrier and missiles launched from Tomahawk missiles launched from the Carney and the Gravely, and also UK fighters also joined in on this fray. And so this was an additional response to this attack against Tower 22, but also in a second attack here to stop the Houthis from continuing their operations against commercial shipping in the Red Sea.
Mr. Ken, we keep hearing this phrase, regional conflict. Is what's going on making that a reality?
So we have de facto regional conflict at this point, in that before the fighting was confined more or less to the Gaza Strip, with some exchange across the border into across the border into Lebanon with Hezbollah. However, this has expanded now. This is now involving militant forces within Iraq, militant forces within Syria, IRGC members that are operating within these two countries but are out of Iran. And then the Houthis also. So in many ways, this is a de facto regional conflict. We're not in a full-blown regional conflict. These are small exchanges going on, but it has the potential of...
Yeah, because it's rising up, you see. But it will become a full-blown regional conflict, because it's biblical, it's prophetic, man. World War III will happen, okay, and we are entering that time. Okay, we're coming into that time quickly. All right.
Becoming a fact that this becomes a full-scale regional conflict.
Especially if the U.S. is making the moves that they are making. Okay. All right.
We're going to have to work very hard to contain this. The United States keeps on saying we have no desire to make this into a regional conflict. Iran has said we do not want to make this into a regional conflict. The Houthis have promised to continue their actions, but they also are trying to keep this from becoming a regional conflict. You see a lot of different players here in this saying we don't want this to boil over, and yet they continue turning the heat up.
More U.S. military operations are expected in the coming days. What does that look like?
So the reason why the second wave was not against the targets within Iraq and Syria is that you have to do battle assessments to see how that first wave was successful, how it's successful.
Yeah, that's pretty much it on that. So let me just finish it out with a few scriptures, right? Because they say, because he says something very important, something very spiritual.
Assessments.
Let me go back just a
What
little
does
bit.
that look like?
And yet they continue turning the...
Yeah, because he says they don't want this to become a regional conflict. All right, but yet he said what?
Regional conflict. You see a lot of different players here in this saying we don't want this to boil over, and yet they continue turning the heat up.
Yet they continue to turn up the heat up, right? You know, that's what he said, right? So real quick, all right. So that's pretty much it on that. All right, let me just bring this out because this is not, see, regardless of what you people think and regardless of what you people want, all right, it's not about you. It's not, it doesn't come down to what you want or what the people want, okay? Because why? This is the book of Proverbs 24. Forgive me, Proverbs 20. All right, Proverbs 20. All right, this is the book of Proverbs 20 and 24, and it says, man's going are of the Lord. How can a man then understand his own way? Because it's about what the Lord wants. The Lord is the one that's directing the people's steps. All right. What's that other one? The king's heart is in the hands of the Lord. You see, let me see if I can find it real quick. Let me see. That's in Proverbs 21. All right, this is the book of Proverbs 21 and 1, and it says the king's heart is in the hands of the Lord. So all these world leaders, all right, they talking about they don't want this to lead into a regional conflict. Or really, what they trying to say is that they don't want World War III to happen. Okay, but in the back of their mind, I'm pretty sure they know that something will happen that will cause World War III. You see, and like he said, but they keep, as he mentioned, but they keep making these type of moves. Oh yeah, that's the direct that we're going into. You see, we are literally going towards World War III. Okay? Because it's all through the will of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah. You see? So that's a beautiful thing. So Proverbs 21 and 1, and it says the king's heart, all right? All these world leaders, okay? It says the king's heart is in the hand of the Lord. Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah. As the rivers of water, he turns it whithersoever he will. You see, so it comes down to what Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah wants, and not what these worldly people want. Okay. So let me just finish it out. In the book of Joel, chapter 3, and verse 9, and it says, proclaim ye this amongst the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near, let them come up. All right, so we at the time that the Lord is raising up these mighty men. All right, and that's why you have all these nations, especially Esau, Edom. They are boasting about their weapons and their military might. Okay, you see, they are boasting up of what they got. You see, so it says, verse 10. It says, "Be your so like it says, be your plowshares into swords, and your poking hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong." You see, and that's the reason why these other nations are not looking up to America as being the big bully anymore. They're not afraid of America anymore. You see, and we're going to see that more, man. Okay? You see, because the Lord has what? He has what cast? He has taken away the covering cast of the world. You see? All right. And these other nations are seeing that America's not that big bully anymore. It says, verse 11, it says, assemble yourself and come, O ye heathen, and gather yourself together round about. Thither cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Lord. Let the heathens be wakened and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat. All right. Or Yahweh Mashaphath. You see, which Yahweh Mashaphath, which means the Lord's judgment. Okay, in the valley of the valley of Yahweh Mashaphath, which is talking about Western Asia, or the so-called Middle East. You see, because that's where World War III is going to take place. All right, and it says, for there will I set to judge all the heathens round about. Okay, so in the end of the day, it doesn't matter, because the Lord is the one that's making the moves. You see, the Lord is going to be the one that's going to have World War III happen regardless. All right, World War III will happen regardless of what you people think. Okay, so, this video was just an update. All right, just an update, World War III update. All right, hopefully that this lesson was edifying as well as uplifting. And with that, I want to say shalom.